Hello and welcome to a really interesting game in the round of 16 in Line War Tournament T2 2024. That is a long name, but what you need to understand is we have two good players. We have the developer Basantos in blue, the developer of Line War, against Real Bug in red. This is the first time that the developer is actually participating in the tournament himself. So it's going to be so much fun to see how he can fare in the tournament. He's been really good at one point. I think he lately had a few issues keeping up with the best players, and I will just actually, I don't know the history of Real Bug in the tournaments. I don't think he played that much, to be honest. He did play the last tournament. He reached the quarterfinals where he barely lost to a player called Kartoffelmann. So this time in the group stage, both of these players are second places in their group. Basantos was in my group. I managed to win against him. So he won 2, lost 1. And exactly the same with Real Bug. Won 2 games and lost 1. So they are 2 second places who's going up against each other. And I already seen this game actually. So I know who's going to win. But I just had to cast this one because this was such a wild game, and I think it's a very interesting way of playing Line War, and it shows like how versatile Line War actually is. Like there's not just one way to play this game at all. Is it the most optimal way they play? Probably not. But it's really fun to watch. So let's just dive into it. And I'm trying to speed up. Did I? Yeah, it is working. So first off, very interesting picking phase from Basantos to choose this part of the map. I would think most top players would go with this big island just because it has so much eco. What you could counter that with is that there is a lot of trade routes out here. And if you get all of those up and running, you actually have a lot of economy. Like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 trade routes. That is insane. And on top of that, you have 5 cities. So actually, the more I talk about it, the more it seems like a decent starting position, actually. Maybe I was a little bit too quick. Also, you have the gas here. 2 gas here. But I think many would still go for the big island. The issue is probably that there's no gas here. But there's decent amount of gas down here. And gas is just so important on these navy maps, island maps. Because if you don't have any gas, you cannot move your navy. And here's the first fun thing. Basantos does a cross-pick that is not too crazy, but Real Bug got his first pick was this. He got it completely as he wanted it. And he doesn't actually go there. He chooses, I think this was the 3rd spot he chose. Really weird to have your starting pick, you get it all for yourself, and then you pick another starting position. And here comes the other interesting part. Basantos probably think, I would at least, that Crypto would go here. That was his first pick, is the big island. So Basantos is going heavy eco. Buck is going eco, but a lot of air and not that much navy. Basantos not that much navy either. Maybe I'm biased here. I am a big navy player, so I do tend to play a lot of navy. So maybe I'm just biased, but I think to see two players starting on tiny islands, building that what is it called? That tiny amount of navy from the get-go is really surprising. So what you see here is Real Buck's first move is to build an interceptor and basically scout Basantos. He wants to know what is Basantos up to. And I think one of the reasons he wants this is because he's actually building transport planes and commandos. So by scouting here, not only does he know, like, okay, what is Basantos doing, but he also gets the targets that he needs for his commandos. Like, instead of just dropping them randomly, now he will spot the buildings and he will be able to drop the commandos straight onto a building. Also known as in the community the Big Basantos drop, I think it was called, because Basantos had had for a time, like, he would gather a lot of commandos and he would basically just put the drop command on top of a building. And what it does is basically you can swarm your enemy's buildings with commandos. They just land directly on top of it and there's almost no way to defend it other than actually shooting down the transport planes, which can be tough. So neither player knows anything about the other player so far. Basantos building a bit more navy. He upgraded with a shipyard. Still building transport boats though. Didn't he build the one before? I'm not sure what, if he used that or if he cancelled. But here comes the scouting. And you can see it from both perspectives. Like, Basantos can easily see it. But here's what Real Buck gets from this. He already spots the towns, the port even. And yeah, he changes to a move command so it doesn't start attack. He just wants to see what's going on. He spots the shipyards, the commandos, the airport, and industries. First off, he's using the commandos for expansion. And oh, actually, Basantos is doing the exact same thing. Okay, so so Buck is over here. Like, I think that must have been surprising for Basantos. And you can see he even goes here to check, like, is Buck here or is he here? So he knows his plan actually. You can even see that it's transport planes. Buck also expanded to this island. Basantos is on the way to expand to that island. A bit of unnecessary extra time and gas consumption. Like, you could just go straight here. It's a very minor thing. It's just, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because he doesn't want Buck to see it. Like, if he scouts another time. This is a lot of commandos and a lot of transport jets. And Basantos go in with the scouting again. Maybe he just forgot to remove it. I'm not sure why he wants to check again. Just as Crypto lifts off and Basanto does the right thing, he changes this to a attack command, but then he immediately changes his back eyes. Yeah, I get it. It's because he didn't want them to attack this, the buildings, the units. But they don't actually get anything done. Now you will see the strength of dropping commandos directly on top of buildings. So this is only 4 units on each building, so it's not even that much. One transport plane goes down, sends us as a missile ship. If he was quick, he could. Yeah, he's trying actually to get the interceptors up. And he might get another transport plane here. And he does. He should remove the haste command when they're already here. Using haste is not very efficient. They are simply flying too fast. Real Bug got the town, but he didn't get this one. Bug's issue is that Basantos will outproduce him in Navy, and basically all of this can be reached by Navy. Basantos can destroy the shipyard, the gas, the town, even this airport. And even though he cannot destroy this, he can put missile ships either here or here, whatever, to basically paralyze it. But Real Bug is expanding over here. It's expanding with the ships, and he put down a capping barracks on this part of the map. So did Basantos. Also, I would maybe have transported the units to this part of the map instead of here. Now Basantos has to move all the way here, and Real Bug can really build up a bunch of like Basantos is basically leaving most of the island to Real Bug. So instead he could have landed here, put down his production here, which means it's much closer to a future front line that could be like here or here or even here. Yeah, but let's get back to that at another time, because this was one of the moves I remember from the game. Look at this. He's going all the way around, so Basantos doesn't see it at all, and he actually can reach this refinery. This is such a nice play. I really like it. He keeps out of range from the interceptors, and Basantos will only see them in range when it's too late. That's when Real Bug uses the haste command, and it's just such a nice move. The only gas, like if you look here, Basantos only have these gas spots. And he gets the gas in no time. Actually, he built a power plant, which is highly unusual. But it does help him a bit here, because he can at least move a tiny bit. And did Basantos just drop any units? Yeah, of course, he ran out of energy, so he wanted to do a commando drop, but he ran out of energy before the commandos got there. And now Real Bug, it's because his Discord name is Crypto, and that's, I think, how the community knows him. So I might call him Crypto now and then in this cast. But Crypto is basically Real Bug. Real Bug is capping these territories with the gases, so making it even more difficult for Basantos to rebuild any gas. Now he has to also recapture the territories before he can start building them again. But here's where the power plant comes in handy, because it's just enough power for these transport boats to shift over some of the units that Basantos has. Let's look at the eco. 750 for Basantos and 640 for Crypto. So Basantos is a fair bit ahead, but he has to somehow defend against these drops that comes over and over and over. Crypto going for the town and also going for economic buildings up here. Basantos might get 1 or 2 transport planes. He gets 1. But now Crypto has a bit of, Real Bug has a bit of AA. And Basantos just can't move his ships, despite this cruiser being very strong and probably easily can take out all 3 of those. That's 2 industries gone. That's a town gone. Another town gone. And Real Bug puts down a sub-pen to have a bit more naval presence. Basantos working on his gas and trying to defend it a bit more this time. Loses another industry. I don't think he'll lose this one. Crypto is going for the airport, but I don't think he can reach it. And Basantos is down to 700 in eco now, despite him capping territory here and building eco buildings. Like, I think this finished in the meantime. Real Bug puts down another sub-pen. I'm actually surprised he's not working on these trade routes. But maybe it's because he knows he's a bit behind on the naval presence, so he don't dare building that kind of infrastructure just yet, because he can easily get overwhelmed on the Navy side. So I think if it wasn't clear, I just want to finish up my point that building the landing here would have made a big difference, because Basantos would be able to push forward, cap the territories until he meets a Real Bug, entrench if necessary, or if he's has higher numbers, then attack, and then slowly start to cap this backwards. That will, over time, probably give you more territory. Basantos Navy is starting to look not that good actually. I was getting a bit confused with all the transport boats. Basantos is trying to put down small squads of units to defend against future commando drops. And even though Basantos knows, okay, this is what Realbug is doing, and Realbug just, okay, this is working okay. I continue. He's doubling down on that strategy. Basantos finally starting to reach some more safer refinery options over here. $850 for Realbug, 900 for Basantos. And where did he put that? Ah, he's moving over here. Straight above the missile ship. And Crypto is fast enough, I think, to... maybe he moved it in the wrong direction, actually. If he's fast enough, he could shoot this down. But it seems like he doesn't really care. He wants to go around and check if Basantos built any town or refinery again, I think. Basantos working on this island, putting down a factory. And here comes another huge commando drop. Invasion. And Basantos doesn't have any units there. And he cannot see it at all. So expect some panic when suddenly 7 transport planes shows up here. So some his commands, air. So he wants both his navy, his air, and his units over there. But these buildings are going down. Gone is a shipyard. Gone is a town. Crypto is going for that second town with the port. Loses a transport plane. Can't seem to get past those 3 infantry though. Sorry, I just had to pause it for a minute. So I cannot remember exactly what I was saying, so I might repeat myself. I might do that anyways from time to time due to my age. It's something that happens as you get older. You start to just repeat yourself. Realbug put down a lot of missile ships here, which I think will get almost any time that the air units try to lift off from Basantos airport. I think they will get hit by, or they cannot avoid kind of flying over these missile ships. So very good placement of those. And now they're starting to meet each other over here. Realbug puts down another barracks. So it's basically 2 barracks and a factory against 3 barracks from Realbug. Basantos is nervous about any, probably more landings, like, oh well, actually Realbug could have built an airstrip here and get his transport planes over here, and then he could even drop down here. That would be quite a play actually. So Basantos can see that most of Realbug's navy is over here. And we got a... well, his navy really does look bigger with those transport boats in there. But he has cruisers and Realbug doesn't. And those cruisers can really do damage. And he doesn't have any destroyers that are good against submarines. Let's look at the eco while we are at a bit of a stalemate. 1200 for Basantos and almost 1100 for Realbug. So Basantos is ahead and has been most of the game. Here comes another drop straight on this town. And now you get to see, like, even if you do entrenchments, even if you have producers nearby, it's just so difficult to defend against this. So maybe if any new players are watching, you would say, so why don't you just do this all the time? Well, the con of this strategy is you have so many units just standing around, costing upkeep, not capping any territory, transport planes, also costing a lot of upkeep, you need a lot of gas, etc. So like this is, I know he uses navy, but Realbug of course needs extra gas to also be able to use his transport planes. So it is very good when you have it in this amount, but it also comes with some cons on the eco side. And now we almost missed this. What a, like, I just love this. It's so straightforward. Basantos just saying, okay, I'll just transport my units directly into Realbug's base. And these are some of the moves that new players rarely do. Like, they're not aggressive enough because they are kind of assuming that, well, my opponent can easily defend that. But often, like, you've seen two different ways of just getting units directly into your opponent's base. One by commando drop, another by landing. And that can really hurt your opponent, because it can be, like, usually you have your units spread out everywhere else than in your actual base. So just going straight at it can sometimes be a really good strategy. Especially because the game is about getting eco through capping territory. So many players actually don't have that many units in their main base. They are out either on the front line or they're out capping territory to get more eco. So that's one of my biggest advice to new players. Try to be more aggressive than what feels right. Like, it doesn't feel right to just say, okay, I'm just gonna transport units directly into my opponent's main base, but it can pay off. And worst case scenario, you try to do it and here you can already see, oh, he has a lot of units, just cancel the order, move them away, land over here instead, or whatever. And the same with the transport planes. Try it. If then you can see it's not working, cancel the order, or just don't do it again, or like whatever. You can retreat, just like Basantos is doing here. It's like, okay, I'm not getting any more out of this. There's subs. I'm trying to get away now. Basantos really investing in this side of the map, which I think It's a very good idea, because that's a lot of eco, all those territories. Basantos at 1250 and Real Buck at 1200. I wonder if Basantos had a refinery here and I missed. And actually this is dead as well. I completely missed that. I feel bad about that because I think that was actually another great play by Crypto. He took his, if I recall correctly, because as I said I've watched it before, I think he took his missile ships over here and actually destroyed that refinery. Such a great play. I don't know if he destroyed one here with his subs as well. But now Basantos is building a bit more safer refineries over on the land. I love this play as well. Gathering all the helis. Like, I didn't even think about this, to be honest. Gather all the helis and just send them straight into your enemy's base. And he wants to get rid of Real Buck's navy, so Basantos can get navy control, and with that control he can get rid of all of Real Buck's energy and lots of his eco, as mentioned earlier, as well as paralyzing the airport. So he took that pretty easily. Maybe he should have went for the airport instead as a first. I don't know. It's not a bad move or bad choice by any means. Also thought fun thing, like was it 9 trade routes I counted in the beginning, and not a single trade route has been built. Basantos keeps losing his eco buildings, but he also keeps rebuilding them. Real Buck really building a lot of producers here, a lot of factories. He's gonna win this in the long run. I think this is one of the first drops that won't work at all. There's so many units here. And he actually also decides to cancel that. Real Buck is just capping territory for the sake of income with the subs. Basantos going for the airport, and I think it's gonna work. It does. And finally, no more commando drops. Basantos is using his... he has subs here. Sniping this gas with his own subs and trying to snipe this as well. Very well played. And Real Buck has just put down some subs here to keep an eye out on what's happening. Another air attack. Is he going for the town? So Basantos still on 1270. Real Bug for the first time I think is ahead on income with 1300. Basantos is trying to build some tanks up here. They're gonna be hard to use when there's such a big army in front of you. And even if they get by, they have to cross a lot of mountains in your opponent's territory, which make them even slower. Rilbach has put down an airstrip, so maybe he wants to get his transport planes over here over time, trying to snipe another town. In the meantime, Basantos is sniping out of Rilbach's gas. This will probably not succeed. This will. Oh, it does. An airplane, airport here as well. And Crypto decides to attack on the west side. And it looks like transport planes again. But he's completely out of energy. Now is actually the time for Basantos to attack this refinery, because Realbug doesn't have any gas at all, so he cannot move his subs or air or anything over to protect it. So now would really be the time for Basantos to attack it. But maybe it doesn't know it's been built again, but I would keep an eye out. And he actually does see it. But maybe the subs are on the way. Basantos trying to get a hold on this island. He's even moving his helis over there. They can do a lot of work. There's no anti-air for Realbug on this side. In the meantime, this is looking pretty scary for Basantos. And I think it's a mistake to go that heavily into tanks here. He's trying to build some eco, but he still cannot get the trade routes up and running because he knows there's just subs everywhere in the waters. $1,300 for Basantos, 1,300 for Realbug. So very close game. Why is he moving these? He actually needs to be much more aggressive. But this is tough. That might be the battle that kind of decides this game. Maybe. Let's see how much work those tanks can do. They are really destroying those artilleries. Wow. I did not expect they could do that much work on that artillery block. He has a bunch of money. It's he has so many options right now, Basantos. To take out this, yeah, exactly, use these be aggressive here. Sending way too many units to this small island. But now he's going into the trade routes. Probably the wrong one to start with. I mean, it would probably make more sense to do it on this one. So here comes the build-up of commandos, and I don't know where a real bug wants to send them. This is a nice attack. This is as well, but Basantos will learn soon enough that there's a lot of SAMs over here. Yeah, and he decides to get away immediately. Probably a good decision, not that important to take out an industry. $1,400 for Basantos and $1,350 for Real Bug. But Basantos has the trade routes on the way. So we did do the drop that I was talking about earlier, exactly with the airstrip here and then dropping over here. Basantos puts down a nuke, or rocket as it's called in the game. It's a lot of subs, but Basantos managed to destroy one of the sub pens. And with all of this help from the air, from the helis, I think he's fine. And he's winning on this island, which really opens up a lot of trade routes. Basantos has the option here to get his economy to basically explode. His biggest issue is holding on to this part of the map. I hear self-destructing buildings. Ah, here. I think Basantos is starting to build, is it? No, that's cruisers. I thought he wanted to build some destroyers to look out for. Actually, never mind. You know what, I only have... Ah, that is a cruiser. Okay, okay. So I'm not completely off. Basantos on 1430. Real Bug on 1430. It's such a equal game, tight game. This is very well played by Basantos. Getting his helis all the way over here and starting to destroy all of this is such a good way to use helis in an island map like this. He could build a hangar, actually, and take his strikers everywhere on the map. He could get his strikers over here and start working on anything Crypto is Real Bug is working on. And Realbuck's issue is there's no gas for him. Basantos just need to keep these three refineries down, and then he knows that Realbuck doesn't really have that much energy. He did cap this though, so in the future he can get this, and he's actually also pushing the front line so much down here that he could get this soon enough. That's a lot of planes just costing upkeep, doing nothing. Basantos making ready for a landing. This could be huge, because there's almost no defense from Realbuck over here. The rocket is in the works, but the defensive lines are completely broken. Basantos' economy is starting to do wonders. 1550 against 1300 for Realbuck. Here comes another commando drop straight into the airports. I think Basantos has enough helis this time, and he's actually doing what I was talking about, moving the helis over here. Unfortunately, that means they are following this line instead of this, and that requires some also quick reflexes. I think if he had chosen this line, changed it to an attack command, the helis would actually have attacked these units. Let's see if it goes down. He does manage to save it. He can really get so much economy now. Got this island under control. He's suppressing Realbuck's energy reduction. His only issue is this spot. But if Basantos can take over this island as well, that opens up 3 more trade routes. He just cannot take over the island with or using air. That's a lot of SAMs. Build an airstrip instead of a hangar, which is completely understandable. Let's see what he can see. So he spots this airstrip. This is really nice played. He spots the shipyards and the airport. This rocket does not finish in time, I think. He's finally, I almost want to say, going for this refinery. He gets the airstrip, he gets 2 barracks, and he gets a lot of info about what is going on over here with a build-up of a navy. This is a great landing. Where are these troops going? Directly on the energy depot. But he cancels it, or what is happening? I think they just Yeah, I'm not sure what happened before he lost all energy, but oh, the rocket is actually ready. Can he fire it in time? It's probably not ready. Like I imagine he's clicking it and he's just pressing K over and over trying to get that rocket launched. He has so much money. He has 1200 in the bank. Plus 700. There it goes. He doesn't get to fire it. Wow. He has so many trade routes now. 1800 all of a sudden. Against 1400. And that's despite losing all of this. And this is one big invasion. With air and infantry. Bit of navy. Well, obviously the navy is not invading, but and he's even about to get 1, 2, 3 trade routes more than he already has. And he has the option to build, at the moment, 3 cities. Well, he does have one already. But this should be easy to cap. I'm not sure why he went away from that. I know I got info that Basantos doesn't, but he already went there with his helis and everything. So I think he knows that there's not too much going on. Unfortunately, this navy is looking decent for real bug. So, like, Basantos really need to keep navy control, otherwise all of these trade routes can disappear, and that's the thing with eco buildings. You get a relatively quick eco boost, but it's also a very fragile way of having eco, because you can, like, one of these buildings taken down can cost you 2 or even 3 trade routes, while it takes a long time to cap that amount of territories, so it would be a slow decrease of income over time. And there you go. Basantos resigned despite being in an empire, what's it called? Lead? Empire value lead, and a decent, quite a decent income lead as well. So yeah, I just thought I wanted to share this game with you because I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it, and I just had to share this with the Line War community. Such a fun game, well played by both, and congratulations to Real Bug. Also, here comes a spoiler for the final outcome of the round of 16 between these two. So if you don't know that yet, turn off. The match, the overall round of 16 between Basantos and Realbug ended up with Realbug winning 3-0 actually. So Realbuck is on to the quarterfinals against the other developer, Inventia, or at least he used to be a developer on Line War, mostly working on the graphical part, models, etc. So Realbuck has to take out all of the people behind the game itself. It's gonna be interesting to see if Realbuck can take out Infinity as well. He goes into the game with 2 lives, Infinity 2 lives as well. So let's see how that turns out. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed watching this and that you enjoy the other tournament games. Thanks for watching. See you around. Bye.